Nitai ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Chandramauli Maharaj ki jai, Chandramauli Maharaj ki
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Sit on. Okay. Hare Krishna. Jai Ho. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Before I start, I just like to just mention what I just did in the last 10-15 minutes. And it's all very much relevant to all of you. And that is, just recently, 2 months ago, there was an organization started called the Bhaktivedanta Medical Association.
Pokrenuta je udruga koja se zove Bhaktivedanta medicinska asocijacija, odnosno udruga.
A very dear and personal friend of mine who is a surgeon in London got the idea of uniting doctors, devotee doctors, all over the world in one particular organization to give health care to devotees all around the world.
Jedan moj dragi prijatelj iz Londona, koji je kirurg, je dobio ideju da ujedini sve bakte koji su liječnici u jednu organizaciju kako bi se baktama diljem svijeta mogla pružati liječnička pomoć.
So he worked very hard and he actually put it together, and now we have 150 doctors who have volunteered free medical care, advice, service to devotees anywhere in the world.
I on je radio naporno na tome i sada imamo 150 doktora koji besplatno pružaju medicinske savjete baktama diljem svijeta.
Which means allopathic, homeopathic, naturopath, Ayurveda.
To znači, to uključuje alopatsku, homeopatsku, naturopatsku i ajurvedsku medicinu.
It means devotees, if they need medical care, they can choose which kind of service, medical service they would like. and then connect with his organization, and they will connect you with a doctor anywhere in the world.
To znači da ako bakte trebaju medicinsku pomoć, samo se trebaju javiti ovoj organizaciji, odlučiti koju vrstu medicinske pomoći žele i onda ćemo vas mi dalje spojiti s doktorima, odnosno liječnicima bilo gdje u svijetu.
Free of charge.
Besplatno.
No, you don't have to pay anything on any level.
Ne morate ništa platiti.
And I'll give you an example. Just because I'm under some care for physical therapy right now.
Daću vam primjer jer ja trenutno primam fizikalnu terapiju.
And so they put me in contact with one devotee doctor in Mumbai.
I tako su me oni spojili s jednim baktom doktorom u Mumbaiu.
And he's been helping me.
I on mi pomaže.
I've been connected him for about 5 weeks now.
Ja pričam s njim već jedno 5 tjedana.
And I'm really pleased with both him as a person and as a devotee and as his expertise in his medical profession.
I jako sam zadovoljan s njim kao osobom i baktom i sa njegovom stručnošću u polju medicine.
Just recently I got a letter from one of my disciples.
Nedavno sam dobio pismo od jednog od svojih učenika.
This was last Monday I got the letter.
To je bilo prošli ponedjeljak.
She's in distress.
Ona je uznemirena.
She has physical problems also. She can't even walk hardly because of it.
Ima fizičke probleme, gotovo da ne može hodati.
So she's going to her doctors in the local area.
I tako ona ide k svojim doktorima lokalnim.
But they're recommended surgery, various kinds of injections, and certain kinds of medicines. She's not happy with any of the advice that they're giving her.
I oni preporučaju znači operacije, razne injekcije i koje kakve medicinske preparate, ali ona nije zadovoljna s tim.
Because we know in the secular world the doctors are motivated by profit.
Jer znamo u materijalnom svijetu doktore, odnosno u svjetovnom svijetu,
They may also care about their patients, but they don't do it for free.
Doktore motivira profit. Ponekad im je stalo i do pacijenata, ali ne rade za džabe.
And they're always giving advice sometimes that are worse than what the patient actually needs.
I uvijek daju savjete koji nisu uvijek ono što pacijent treba.
So my disciple, she was in distress.
Ova moja učenica je bila jako
She
uznemirena.
lost all her faith in the doctors.
Izgubila je svu vjeru u doktore.
So I told her, I said, well, I can help you. I have a physical therapist I'll connect you with him and let's see.
Ja sam joj rekao, pa ja ću ti pomoći. Ja imam ovog fizikalnog terapeuta, povezat ću te s njim, pa onda ćemo dalje vidjeti.
So I contacted him first and he said, sure, Maharaj, yeah, send her to me, I'll try to help her.
I kontaktirao sam njega i on je rekao, da, naravno Maharaj, pomoći ću joj.
And when I told her, she was so happy.
I kad sam joj to rekao, ona je bila toliko sretna.
Her faith in medical treatment came back.
Njezina vjera u medicinske tretmane se vratila.
And now she's getting the care she needs.
I sad prima svu njegu koja je potrebna.
And she's happy.
I sretna je.
Because if you don't have faith in the doctor, or you're not sure, you can't really submit yourself to the treatment.
Jer ako nemate vjeru u liječnika ili niste baš sigurni, ne možete se zapravo podvrgnuti tretmanu.
But we can have faith in devotees.
Ali imamo vjeru u bakte.
Because devotees, they like to serve devotees.
Jer bakte vole služiti druge bakte.
That's what it means to be a devotee.
To znači biti bakta.
Serving other devotees.
Služiti druge bakte.
So he was happy and she was happy, and so now when you are satisfied with the care and the person that is giving the care, immediately you can submit yourself wholeheartedly to the care. And that's a big point, because that'll make a difference between success and failure.
I tako je on bio sretan, ona je bila sretna i vi kad ste sretni, onda možete se potpuno predati osobi koja brine za vas i ta predaja je ključ između uspjeha i neuspjeha.
Faith is life.
Vjera je život.
We do everything on faith.
Sve radimo po vjeri.
We come to Krishna consciousness because of faith.
Dolazimo do svjesnosti Krišne zbog vjere.
And we stay in Krishna consciousness because of faith.
I ostajemo u svjesnosti Krišne zbog vjere.
And we even do things that we are not sure of because we have already developed faith that the process works.
I radimo stvari u koje baš nismo sigurni jer smo razvili vjeru da proces funkcionira.
So faith is life.
Znači vjera je život.
So in our execution of devotional service, faith is the foundation by which we can remain inspired in Krishna consciousness.
U našem vršenju predanog služenja vjera je temelj. Vjera je temelj.
Faith comes by experience.
Ona dolazi putem iskustva.
Faith comes by associating with people who have faith.
Putem druženja s ljudima koji već imaju vjeru.
And faith comes also through understanding philosophical and transcendental knowledge.
I kroz razumijevanje filozofskog i transcendentalnog znanja.
And faith moves us from one level of bhakti to the next.
I vjera nas pokreće s jedne razine bhakti na iduću.
We have faith that Prabhupada says if you chant Hare Krishna, you can purify your heart, you can awaken your devotion to Krishna, and you can eventually go back to the spiritual world.
Imamo vjeru da ako Prabhupada kaže, ako pjevamo Hare Krishna, možemo duhovno napredovati, probuditi ljubav prema Krišni i na kraju se vratiti u duhovni svijet.
We have preliminary faith.
Imamo preliminarnu ili početnu vjeru.
Preliminary faith will not continue to develop our enthusiasm in Krishna consciousness unless we come to full faith.
Početna vjera neće nastaviti razvijati naš entuzijazam u svjesnosti Krišne osim ako ne dođemo do pune vjere.
Where is full faith really experienced?
A gdje se ta puna vjera zapravo može iskusiti?
Well, Krishna says, if you surrender to me, I give you all protection.
Krišna kaže, ako se predaš meni, ja ću ti dati svu zaštitu.
If you surrender to me, I take care of all of your needs.
Ako se predaš meni, pobrinut ću se za sve tvoje potrebe.
If you surrender to me, then it becomes easy to go back home, back to God.
Ako se predaš meni, postaje lako vratiti se kući natrag Bogu.
So we can't really see that clearly.
Mi to zapravo ne možemo jasno vidjeti.
But we have faith that whatever Krishna says is correct, right?
Ali imamo vjeru da sve što Krišna kaže je točno.
If we don't have faith in what Krishna says, then we can't really call ourselves a Krishna bhakta.
Ako nemamo vjeru u to što Krišna kaže, onda se ne možemo baš nazvati Krišninim bhaktom.
I think the Christians, they have a nice statement about what is the meaning of faith.
Mislim da kršćani imaju lijepu izreku o tome što je značenje vjere.
Faith is the principle that faith works in such a way that even though I can't see the results, I have faith that the results will be there.
Vjera djeluje na takav način da iako ja ne vidim rezultate, ja vjerujem da će oni doći.
In other words, if the spiritual master, who is Krishna's representative, the pure devotee, says that if you follow this and you do it with enthusiasm, then you will make progress and you'll go back home, back to Godhead.
Drugim riječima, ako duhovni učitelj koji je čisti bhakta i Krišnin predstavnik kaže ako ovo slijediš i radiš to s entuzijazmom, onda ćeš se vratiti kući natrag Bogu.
So how do we develop that faith?
Kako razviti tu vjeru?
That's the important part, because faith doesn't come so easy sometimes, because we might... Okay.
To je važno jer vjera ne dolazi tako lako ponekad.
We might have given our faith to other situations in life, and then we've been cheated, or we've been given something different than what we are looking for.
Možda smo u nekim situacijama uložili vjeru, a bili smo prevareni ili smo dobili nešto drugo što nije ono što smo očekivali.
So when we have these, what we say, bad experiences, or what we say, failed experiences in life, we become a little bit less easy to give our faith to something else.
I kad imamo ta loša iskustva ili neuspjehe u životu, onda nam je teže dati vjeru nečem drugom u životu.
So how do we get over that in Krishna consciousness?
Kako prijeći preko toga u svjesnosti Krišne?
Of course we can read the books, that's important, but that's not enough.
Naravno, možemo čitati knjige, to je važno, ali nije dovoljno.
What's the real foundation is when we see other people happy in Krishna consciousness.
Pravi temelj je kad vidimo druge ljude sretne u svjesnosti Krišne.
They're giving their life to Krishna.
Oni daju svoj život Krišni.
They're happy.
Oni su sretni.
They're able to inspire others.
Mogu inspirirati druge.
They are not fearful.
Ne boje se.
And they always glorify and serve Krishna.
I uvijek slave Krišnu.
When we meet people like that,
Kad upoznamo takve ljude
when we associate with people like that,
i kad se s takvim ljudima družimo,
and you might say, well, where are they?
možete pitati, pa gdje su ti ljudi?
They're right here.
Oni su ovdje.
You just have to find them.
Morate ih naći.
But sometimes it's not so easy to find them.
Ponekad ih nije tako lako naći.
Because sometimes we don't know what to look for.
Jer ponekad ne znamo što tražimo.
But if we stay around long enough,
Ali ako ostanemo dovoljno dugo ovdje
and do what everybody else is doing,
i radimo što svi drugi
then
rade,
it becomes easy to recognize everything.
onda sve postaje lako prepoznati.
And then we also get our own experience.
I također dobijemo svoje vlastito iskustvo.
Faith is so important.
Vjera je toliko važna.
I mean, we can even see how, just like, I'm sure many of you have taken airplane flights, right?
Siguran sam da su mnogi od vas letjeli avionom.
Practically all of us have been in an airplane one time or another.
Gotovo svi smo ovdje bili u zrakoplovu.
But how much do you know about the pilot?
Ali što zapravo znate o pilotu?
Did you ever meet him?
Jeste li ga upoznali?
Can I see your credentials?
Mogu li vidjeti vaše
How many
kvalifikacije?
flights did you make?
Koliko ste puta letjeli u životu?
Are you sure you can get me there?
Jeste li sigurni da ćemo
We
stići?
don't ask those questions.
Ne pitamo ta pitanja.
But we know that this particular airlines is authorized to do the work, and therefore we trust it.
Ali znamo da ta prijevoznička tvrtka ima autorizaciju da obavlja taj posao i stoga vjerujemo.
And when we go up in an airplane, we're putting our life in somebody's hand. It's not just a small thing either.
I kad uđemo u avion, mi stavljamo svoj život u nečije ruke. To nije mala stvar.
So it's an example how we sometimes accept faith just because we know, well, this airline has been authorized and therefore the pilots obviously are competent and therefore I'll get there.
To je samo primjer kad nečemu čemu dajemo vjeru, očito ova kompanija je ovlaštena i stoga ja vjerujem da ću doći na odredište.
So, therefore, the more we learn about Krishna,
I stoga što više učimo o Krišni,
and the more we know how Krishna takes care of his devotees, there's examples both in the scriptures and in our day-to-day life in this world.
i što više znamo o tome kako se Krišna brine za bakte, znači imamo primjere u šastrama, a i u svakodnevnom životu.
That inspires us.
To nas inspirira.
And then we want to also serve more.
I onda također želimo više služiti.
We don't think I'm wasting my time doing this service. We're thinking, I'm actually making spiritual advancement.
Ne mislimo ja trošim vrijeme radeći ovu službu, nego ja duhovno napredujem.
And even if we get into a difficult situation,
I čak i ako dođemo u neku tešku situaciju,
we know, let me remember Krishna.
moramo znati, daj da se sjećam Krišne.
Prabhupada said something really powerful.
Prabhupada je rekao nešto jako moćno.
He said, you simply remember Krishna's lotus feet.
Rekao je, ako se jednostavno sjećaš Krišninih lotosovih
You will
stopala,
not be impeded in your devotional service in any circumstance.
nikad nećeš biti ometen u predanom služenju u bilo kojoj okolnosti.
Simply thinking of Krishna's lotus feet
Jednostavno misleći na Krišnina lotosova stopala,
there will be no blocks,
neće biti blokada na putu,
no obstacles.
neće biti prepreka.
Because Krishna's lotus feet are the, what we call the foundation for pure devotional service.
Jer njegova lotosolika stopala su temelj čistog predanog služenja.
When you remember Krishna's lotus feet,
Kad se sjećamo njegovih lotosolikih
the
stopala,
whole process becomes easy and natural.
cijeli proces postaje lagan i prirodan.
Well, we have to remember.
Ali moramo se sjetiti da se sjetimo.
We forget. Oh yes, I'm supposed to remember Krishna's lotus feet. Then I won't have any problems.
Ponekad zaboravimo, o da, pa ja se trebam sjetiti Krišninih lotosovih stopala, onda neću imati problema.
But we forget.
Ali mi zaboravimo.
But when we're with devotees,
Ali kad smo s baktama,
it's easier to remember Krishna's lotus feet.
lakše se sjetiti Krišninih lotosovih
Because
stopala.
these devotees have been given, they've been serving Krishna, so they remind us of Krishna. When they remind us of Krishna, they remind us of what we're supposed to do. Think of Krishna's lotus feet.
Jer bakte služe Krišnu i onda nas podsjećaju na Krišnu i podsjećaju nas na ono što trebamo činiti, a to je sjećati se na njegovih lotosolikih stopala.
And that's what they call, you go to the store and they say, well, if you buy this item and you don't like it, bring it back and we'll give you your money back.
Ponekad u dućanu kažu, imate pravo na povrat novca, vratite stvar, daćemo vam novce.
So you can't lose, even if you bought the wrong thing.
Ne možete izgubiti, čak i ako kupite krivu stvar,
Or you don't like what you bought.
ili vam se ne sviđa to što ste kupili,
You know, you're not going to lose anything, maybe a little bit of time, but that's all.
nećete izgubiti ništa, možda malo vremena, ali to je to.
So, when the devotee says, just remember Krishna's lotus feet, and there'll be no blocks, hey.
I kad bakta kaže, samo se sjećaj Krišninih lotosolikih stopala i neće biti nikakvih zapreka na putu.
Sometimes devotees think, well, this process of Krishna consciousness is too hard.
Ponekad bakte misle, ovaj proces svjesnosti Krišne je pretežak.
Well, I know it works,
Pa znam da djeluje,
but I can't do it.
ali ja se ne mogu time baviti.
Other people can do it.
Drugi mogu prakticirati,
I'm not so qualified.
ali ja nisam toliko
I
kvalificiran.
can see.
Ja mogu to vidjeti.
So we lose faith in ourselves.
Izgubimo vjeru u sebe.
Now, what that causes us to do is become discouraged.
To uzrokuje da postanemo obeshrabreni.
But when we realize, well, I'm right, I can't do it.
Ali kada shvatimo, pa da, upravo sam, ja to ne mogu učiniti,
But with the help of Krishna
ali uz Krišninu pomoć
and the advice of my spiritual master,
i uz savjet duhovnog učitelja,
I can do it.
ja to mogu učiniti.
So all we have to do is agree to follow Krishna. That's all.
Trebamo se samo složiti da slijedimo Krišnu.
And
To je sve.
following Krishna means following Krishna's representative. That's all.
A slijediti Krišnu znači slijediti Krišninog
But
predstavnika.
then
To je
how do I
sve.
know Krishna's representative is someone I want to follow?
Ali kako onda znam da je Krišnin predstavnik neko koga želim slijediti?
Test.
Testiraj.
You should test the spiritual master.
Trebate testirati duhovnog učitelja.
Any questions you have, present them.
Bilo kakva pitanja da imate, postavite mu.
Any doubts you have, reveal your doubts.
Bilo kakve sumnje da imate, razotkrite mu sumnje.
And then evaluate the answers
I onda vrednujte odgovore.
and see.
I vidite.
Yeah. We should test the spiritual master.
Trebamo testirati duhovnog
It's
učitelja.
not like, oh, he's a spiritual master, he's a good guy.
A nije samo, on je guru, on je dobar.
You might be right,
Možda ste u pravu,
but still you need to test.
ali i dalje ga morate testirati.
And can he give me Krishna?
Može li mi on dati Krišnu?
Can he guide me on the path back to Krishna?
Može li me voditi na putu natrag Krišni?
So, therefore, the whole Bhagavatam, and mostly all of our scriptures, is questions and answers.
I stoga cijeli Bhagavatam, a i gotovo svi naši spisi su pitanja i odgovori.
In fact, the whole Bhagavatam starts off with that.
Bhagavatam započinje s tim.
There's a great meeting in a place called Navisaranya, one of the holiest places in all of the world.
Postoji veliki sastanak u Naimišaranji i u šumi, jednom od najvećih mjesta na svijetu.
88,000 sages came.
Došlo je 88,000 mudraca.
And then they elected Sutta Goswami to be the head of the sages, to guide the sages with their questions.
I odabrali su Sutu Gosvamija da bude na čelu tih mudraca i da ih vodi pitanjima.
Sonaka Rishi was the spokesman.
Shonaka Rishi je bio glasnogovornik.
And the questions were coming to Shonaka. Shonaka was giving them to Sutta Goswami, and Sutta Goswami was answering the questions.
I pitanja su dolazila do Shonaka Rishija, Shonaka Rishi ih je postavljao, a Suta Gosvami je na njih odgovarao.
The whole basis, and that was the basis for Bhagavatam.
I to je cijeli temelj Bhagavatama.
And many important questions were given.
I postavljena su mnoga važna pitanja.
And one of the most important questions is, in this age of Kali,
Jedna od najvažnijih pitanja u ovom dobu Kali,
which was just when the sages were beginning their meeting, was just at the beginning of the age of Kali.
znači kad je bio sastanak, taman je počinjalo doba Kali.
What is the method by which we can authorize a process of self-realization in this age of Kali?
Koja je metoda koju možemo autorizirati ili ovlastiti proces samospoznaje u ovom dobu Kali?
See, Krishna, he's concerned that we all become Krishna conscious.
Krišni je stalo da svi postanemo svjesni Krišne.
And he empowers those that are his devotees to give Krishna consciousness to others.
I on opunomoćuje one koji su njegovi bhakte da daju svjesnost Krišne drugima.
And they're concerned that for the welfare of others.
I oni se brinu za dobrobit drugih.
They're happy.
Oni su sretni.
They're not trying to gain anything.
Ne pokušavaju dobiti
They're
ništa.
already fully absorbed in Krishna.
Već su potpuno apsorbirani u Krišnu.
But they're not fully satisfied because there are so many people who are suffering.
Ali nisu potpuno zadovoljni jer toliko mnogo ljudi pati.
Why are they suffering?
Zašto pate?
Because they don't understand what is the purpose of life.
Jer ne razumiju koja je svrha života.
And therefore the sages want to enlighten people on what is the purpose of life and how to achieve that purpose.
I stoga mudraci žele prosvjetliti ljude o tome koja je svrha života i kako je postići.
So one of the questions was, what is the means for self-realization in this age of Kali?
Jedno od pitanja je bilo koje je sredstvo samospoznaje u ovom dobu Kali.
Because if you go through the Vedas, you'll find there's different processes that are recommended for self-realization.
Jer ako gledate u Vedama, postoje različiti preporučeni procesi za samospoznaju.
But specific.
Ali specifično
For this age.
za ovo doba.
Because in this age, people are not inclined to perform devotional service.
Jer u ovom dobu ljudi nisu skloni vršiti predano služenje.
So, what is that process?
Koji je to proces?
And then, of course, they understood.
I onda su razumjeli
Statement by Lord Brahma.
Izjavu gospodina Brahme.
They quote. It's a verse from the Kali Santara Upanishads.
Oni citiraju stih iz Kali Santara Upanishade.
Now, Lord Brahma, he is the head of our sampradaya.
Gospodin Brahma je glava naše sampradaje.
He is the most important person in this universe.
On je najvažnija osoba u ovom svemiru.
He teaches religious principles and he makes sure that all of those who work under him are following religious principles also.
On poučava principe religije i osigurava da svi njegovi podanici također slijede principe religije.
He's Krishna's immediate representative in this universe.
On je neposredni predstavnik Krišne u ovom svemiru.
So he says,
I on kaže,
and I'll quote the verse,
citirat ću stih,
Iti soda sakam nam kali kama sanasanam nata paratayopayo sarva vedashu drishyache. After searching through all Vedic scriptures, one cannot find a more easy, sublime and direct process of self-realization in this age, and chanting these 16 names of God, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So when it comes from a person like Lord Brahma, then you can think, oh, well, there's nobody more exalted than Brahma except Krishna. So obviously what he's saying is that he is giving us the topmost recommendation for how to become Krishna conscious in this age.
Krišna, Brahma kaže da nakon što smo pretražili sve vede nećemo nigdje naći lakši, uzvišeniji i direktniji proces nego otpjevanja svetih imena. Njega definitivno trebamo poslušati.
The question might be, we might pose the question, do we have faith that simply by chanting and dancing and eating nice Krishna prasadam, I can go back to the spiritual world?
Trebamo si postaviti pitanje, vjerujem li ja da ću jednostavno mantranjem, plesanjem i čašćenjem finog prasadama vratiti se natrag kući Bogu?
What will it take? Is it that simple?
Što je potrebno? Je li zaista tako jednostavno?
Well, it goes back to the topic of the lecture.
Vraćamo se na temu predavanja.
Faith.
Vjera.
If you have faith that chanting, dancing and eating Krishna prasadam is all you need to go back to the spiritual world, then it will work.
Ako imate vjeru da je pjevanje, plesanje i čašćenje prasadama jedino što trebate činiti da biste se vratili natrag Bogu, onda će profunkcionirati.
If you don't have faith,
ako nemate vjere,
then it will take a while.
onda će potrajati.
Until you gain that faith. When you gain that faith, then everything becomes fast.
Dok ne dobijete tu vjeru. A kad dobijete vjeru, sve se jako ubrza.
I'll give you an example.
Daću vam primjer.
I mean, sometimes we're put into difficult situations in life.
Ponekad se nađemo u teškoj situaciji u životu.
And I know in your country here, I grew up in America.
I znam ovdje kod vas, mislim ja sam odrastao u Americi.
And in America everything was nice.
I u Americi sve je bilo lijepo.
I mean, the biggest problem we had was the teachers in our schools. That was the biggest problem.
Nama su najveći problemi bili učitelji u školi.
Life was quite nice when I grew up. I mean, it's changed now.
Život je bio dosta lijep kad sam ja odrastao, ali sad se promijenilo.
We were a privileged generation, you might say.
Moja generacija je bila na neki način povlaštena.
We had cars,
imali smo
just
aute,
coming out, and televisions,
i televizore,
and phones were just starting. Of course, there was a different kind of phone. You had to put your finger in the thing and go like this.
Morali ste vrtjeti
If you made a
brojčani.
mistake, it take you a long time to dial the phone because then you could forget it,
I ako ste pogriješili broj, onda vam je trebalo dugo vremena i onda ste samo odustali.
And our parents loved us.
I naši roditelji su nas voljeli.
Really, they did.
Stvarno jesu.
There was hardly any divorces.
Gotovo nije bilo rastava.
When I grew up, there was one kid in my whole school, I mean hundreds and hundreds of kids, that my parent was divorced. Only one.
Kad sam ja bio mali u školi od stotina i stotina učenika, bio je samo jedan čiji su roditelji rastavljeni.
And all the kids were good kids.
I sva djeca su bila dobra djeca.
There was maybe one girl who was a little bit loose, but that was all.
Bila je jedna cura koja je bila malo onako, ajmo reći, labava, ali svi ostali su bili ok.
And ice cream and popcorn, and going to the beach on the weekends, and just sitting out in the sun and playing different games. I had a nice grow up. My parents weren't rich, but we had all of the fun things that were available.
Imali smo sladoled, kokice, išli smo na plažu, igrali smo se vani na suncu. Moji roditelji nisu baš bili bogati, ali imali smo sve što je bilo potrebno i što je bilo dostupno.
We didn't have any hard times.
Nismo imali nikakvih teškoća.
Of course, we were always hearing about the war in Yugoslavia, and we were thinking, oh my God, that's horrible.
I onda smo čuli za rat u Jugoslaviji i čuli smo, Bože, pa to je strašno.
So I know many of you have been victims or have people who you know have been victimized by this horrible situation. When a war is there, it's the worst situation that one can imagine.
I znam da su neki od vas bili žrtve ili poznajete nekog ko je bio žrtva rata i rat je zapravo najgora situacija.
So I can't really identify with a lot of you because you have maybe went through more difficult times than I have ever gone through.
I zato se ja ne mogu baš poistovjetiti s nekima od vas jer ste vjerojatno prošli kroz puno teže stvari nego što sam ja
But
prošao.
somehow by Krishna's arrangement,
Ali na neki način Krišninim aranžmanom
you came to Krishna consciousness.
došli ste u svjesnost Krišne.
And that's your good fortune.
I to je vaša dobra sreća.
I'll tell you about faith.
Reći ću vam o
How
vjeri.
faith works. Prabhupada, when he was preaching in India in 1972,
Prabhupada je propovjedao u Indiji 72.
and he had sent some of his leading sannyasis to Bangladesh during the war in Bangladesh to preach there.
I poslao je neke od vodećih sanjasija u Bangladeš dok je tamo bio rat da propovjedaju.
And he had two of his leading sannyasis.
I dva glavna sanjasija je uzeo.
I think it was Brahmananda Maharaj and Pushta Krishna Maharaj.
To su bili Brahmananda Maharaj i Pushta Krishna Maharaj.
And they were preaching during the war.
I oni su propovjedali tijekom rata.
And then Prabhupada was getting a little worried. And maybe they were too dangerous. So he tried to bring them back, but the communications broke and they couldn't get any contact with the devotees.
I tako Prabhupada se malo zabrinuo i pokušao ih pozvati natrag, ali veze su jednostavno pukle i nije bilo više komunikacije.
And then the people were telling these two sannyasis, I think you better leave the country, it's getting too dangerous.
I ljudi su govorili ovim sanjasima, mislim da je najbolje da napustite zemlju, postaje previše opasno.
Because if they were caught, they would immediately be killed.
Jer da su ih uhvatili, odmah bi bili ubijeni.
So they decided to leave.
I tako su odlučili otići.
And so there were buses that were leaving the country. People who wanted to leave could leave. And the army was there. And when the buses would come to the border, they would check who's on the buses. And if there's anybody there who was an enemy or they thought to be an enemy, they would take them off and kill them.
I postojali su busevi koji su vozili sve koji su htjeli otići iz zemlje, ali na granici bi zaustavili te buseve, provjerili imali u busu nekoga koga smatraju neprijateljem, oni bi ih izveli van i ubili.
So these two sannyasis got on a bus.
I ta dva sanjasija su
They were trying to get out of the country.
ušli na bus i htjeli su napustiti zemlju.
They got stopped by the border.
Zaustavili su ih
The
na granici.
Islamic army saw them. Oh, yes. There are two Hindus here.
Islamska vojska je vidjela, dva Hindusa su ovdje.
Took them off the bus,
Skinuli ih s busa,
put them in front of a firing squad.
stavili ih pred streljački vod,
They're about to shoot them.
htjeli su ih upucati.
Brahmananda, he starts speaking really loud.
I Brahmananda je počeo jako glasno
He
govoriti.
turns to Pushta Krishna.
I okrene se Pushta Krišni
We're going back to Godhead.
i kaže,
We're going back to Godhead.
vraćamo se natrag Bogu,
And he holds up
vraćamo
his
se natrag Bogu.
beads and he starts chanting really loud, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And so Pushta Krishna got the, and so they're both holding their beads up and chanting. And all of a sudden, the Islamic army got bewildered. And the head soldier came and said, all right, get on the bus and get out of here.
I oni su digli džape u zrak i počeli mantrat jako glasno i to je zbunilo ovu islamsku vojsku i oni su im rekli ajde natrag na autobus i pustili su ih.
Faith in the holy name.
To je vjera u sveto ime.
That's faith in the holy name.
To je vjera u sveto ime.
And one who chants the holy name with faith,
I neko mantra sveto ime s vjerom,
nothing can touch you.
ništa mu se ne može dogoditi.
You're
Ništa.
completely protected.
Potpuno ste zaštićeni.
But more than that, you're actually purified.
Ali još više od toga zapravo ste
That's the
pročišćeni.
most important thing.
To je
Purified.
najvažnija stvar.
Because sometimes, who's our worst enemy?
Jer ponekad ko je naš najgori neprijatelj?
ourselves,
Mi sami,
our mind.
naš
Yeah, so when we can make our mind our friend,
možemo mu učiniti prijateljem,
and that's how we do it, by chanting Hare Krishna
i to činimo pjevanjem Hare Krishna
and taking Krishna prasadam,
i uzimajući prasadam,
reading the books about Krishna,
čitajući knjige o Krišni,
especially Srimad Bhagavatam,
pogotovo Srimad Bhagavatam,
and eating only Krishna prasad.
i jedući samo Krišna prasadam.
If we do that with enthusiasm,
Ako to radimo s entuzijazmom,
you'll go back to Godhead.
vratit ćemo se natrag kući Bogu.
And you'll live happily in this life. No problem.
Živjet ćete sretno u ovom životu, bez
I
problema.
mean, there's always little problems. We get sick once in a while.
Uvijek postoje mali problemi, tu i tamo se
Somebody
razbolimo.
says something we don't like.
Ili netko kaže nešto što nam se ne sviđa.
But that's not so important. Somehow we forget about those things.
A to nije toliko važno, to zaboravimo.
But if we have faith in this process of Krishna consciousness,
Ali ako imamo vjeru u ovaj proces svjesnosti Krišne,
but faith means enthusiasm.
vjera znači entuzijazam.
That enthusiasm leads to determination.
Taj entuzijazam vodi do odlučnosti.
Determination leads to patience.
A odlučnost vodi do strpljivosti.
So the scriptures say, chant with enthusiasm, and any obstacles you come, you'll be able to overcome them by your determination in your chanting, and that'll give you a chance to become patient, and when you're patient, then you're happy. Patience makes you happy because you don't expect anything. Oh, I got the holy name, I got the association of devotees, I got Krishna prasadam, I can serve at any time. What else do I want?
I mantrajte s entuzijazmom i to će vam dati odlučnost da nadiđete sve prepreke i od te odlučnosti će doći i strpljivost, jer tada ćemo znati imam fini prasadam, imam društvo bhakta, imam sve to ime, što mi još uopće treba.
We all know this, right? And everybody knows this.
Svi mi ovo znamo,
But we don't do it enough.
ali to ne činimo dovoljno. U tome je problem.
We have to chant more.
Moramo više mantrati.
We have to dance more.
Moramo više plesati.
I mean, even some of us are a little old, so we can't dance, so we just put our arms up and go from side to side. Prabhupada said that's good enough. The Swami step.
A za neke koji su malo prestari trebaju samo dići ruke u zrak i ljuljati se ovako, Swami step, kako je to Prabhupada zvao.
Probably called the Swami step. It's for us old guys who can't move so fast.
Swami step je za starkelje koji se ne mogu tako brzo vicati.
You know, there's some back pain, there's some leg pain.
Ako vas bole leđa ili vas bole noge,
Shoulder pain.
ili bole ramena.
That pain. But, you know, we can still do that much.
Ali ovo i dalje možemo raditi.
When Krishna says, oh, because this is yoga.
Jer ovo je yoga.
This is the highest form of yoga.
Ovo je najviši oblik joge.
This means complete surrender.
Ovo znači potpuna predaja.
Just like somebody points a gun at you and you go,
Kad neko uperi pištolj u tebe, ti digneš ruke.
I surrender.
Predajem se.
So as soon as you do that, you're safe.
I čim to napraviš, siguran si.
Yeah, so the same way, when you throw your hands up and say, I'm yours, Krishna, Krishna says, I've been waiting. Fine.
I na isti način kad digneš ruke prema Krišni i kažeš ja sam tvoj, Krišna kaže pa čekao sam te, evo konačno.
So Prabhupada says, Krishna consciousness is simply practice, that's all.
Prabhupada kaže svjesnost Krišne je jednostavno praksa.
Practice it more and more, it becomes easier and more natural.
Vježbajte sve više i više i postaje sve lakše i prirodnije.
Some of us immediately we become happy, and other of us might take a little bit longer, but it works for everybody.
Neki odmah postanu sretni, a za neke treba malo duže, ali za sve djeluje.
We have that faith.
Ako imamo tu vjeru.
And that's bhakti.
To je bhakti.
Bhakti is simple.
Bhakti je jednostavna.
Prabhupada said this Krishna consciousness is so simple you'll miss it.
Prabhupada kaže ova svjesnost Krišne je toliko jednostavna da je možete promašiti.
Material life is complicated.
Materijalni život je kompliciran.
So complicated.
O, jako kompliciran.
Like when I came to your country, 2002 was my first year I came here.
Kad sam došao u vašu zemlju, prvi put sam došao 2002.
And I saw people were generally happy.
I vidio sam ljudi su generalno sretni.
And life was quite simple.
I život je bio poprilično jednostavan.
Because when you live a simple material life, it becomes easy on both materially and spiritually.
Jer kad živiš materijalno jednostavan, život postaje lako i materijalno i duhovno.
And now society is making everything so complicated.
Ali danas društvo sve čini kompliciranim.
This insurance and that insurance and this requirement and this tax and this, everything is now so difficult. To maintain a family, you have to really be intelligent. So difficult. Because life has become so complex. Let's call it Yuga.
Ovo osiguranje, ono osiguranje, ovaj zahtjev, onaj zahtjev. Danas za imati obitelj treba biti jako inteligentan jer život je postao jako kompleksan. To je jednostavno Kali Yuga.
Yeah, but if you just continue with the simple part, chant Hare Krishna, associate with devotees, try to serve devotees whenever you can, and when you feel happy, Prabhupada said, dance.
Ali trebamo jednostavno nastaviti s procesom svjesnosti Krišne.
But I'll tell you a secret.
Reći ću vam tajnu.
And it works.
Ona djeluje.
It's not a secret.
Nije tajna.
If you don't feel happy,
ako niste sretni,
dance.
Plešite.
And then you will.
Postaćete sretni.
During care time, that is. I mean, you might dance around your room when nobody's watching, but that's it.
Možete plesati i po sobi kad niko ne gleda.
Sometimes we do that.
Ponekad to radimo.
I don't want to dance in front of all the devotees, but I'll just turn on my kirtan and dance around my room. That's nice too.
Ne želim plesati pred svim baktama, ali upalit ću kirtan u sobi i tamo ću plesati. To je isto dobro.
It's just as good.
To je isto dobro.
But there's one added thing when you do it with the devotees, then the devotees think, oh, he's so happy. I want to dance too.
Ali kad to činite s baktama, onda bakte misle, on je tako sretan, želim i ja plesati.
I remember I read, this was before I became a devotee, I read one book.
Prije nego što sam postao bakta, pročitao sam jednu knjigu.
Kind of a spiritual book.
Nije baš ni spiritualna knjiga.
But I liked the I couldn't understand a lot of it, but I liked the conclusion.
Nisam puno razumio, ali mi se sviđao zaključak.
The conclusion was that the ultimate expression of happiness is dancing.
Zaključak je bio da je krajnji izraz sreće je plesanje.
And now I'm going to give you a statement you might not like.
Sad ću vam dati izjavu koja vam se možda neće sviđati.
There's one devotee, he wrote one book.
Jedan bakta je napisao
He's
knjigu.
one of the first devotees to join the movement.
Jedan od prvih bakta koji se pridružio ovom pokretu.
And he called it Blazing Sadhus. That's the name of the book. Blazing Sadhus.
On je to nazvao Sadhuji u plamenu.
But he gave a subtitle to the book.
I podnaslov je bio.
And the subtitle was something that he learned from another devotee.
A taj podnaslov je nešto što je naučio od drugog bakta.
When he first joined in 1966.
On se pridružio 66.
The movement was just starting.
I taj pokret je tek započet.
And he came.
On je došao.
And he saw Prabhupada.
I vidio Prabhupada.
And Prabhupada was having kirtan.
I Prabhupada je imao kirtan.
And Prabhupada was dancing.
I Prabhupada je plesao.
While he was singing, he was dancing also.
I on je plesao dok je pjevao.
So he's looking.
I on je tako gledao.
He's not sure,
I nije baš bio siguran.
He's dancing.
On pleše.
So then one devotee came over to him and said,
I onda je došao bakta do njega i rekao mu,
never trust a holy man that can't dance.
I rekao mu, nikad ne vjeruj svetom čovjeku koji ne zna plesati.
And then he thought, oh, that sounds good.
I onda je mislio, pa da, to zvuči dobro.
So when he wrote his book, that was the subtitle, Never trust a holy man that can't dance.
I to je bio podnaslov, nikad ne vjeruj svetom čovjeku koji ne zna plesati.
So when he saw Prabhupada dance, at first he didn't trust him, but then after he understood. And yeah, dancing is a part of life, it's the best part.
I prvo kad je vidio da Prabhupada pleše nije mu vjerovao, ali onda je kasnije shvatio da je plesanje najbolji dio života.
And when we were a little shy to dance, maybe we like to dance, but we think, maybe I can't dance so nice, and everybody will think, boy, she can't dance so good, or he can't dance so good, so I won't dance.
Možda volimo plesati, ali smo sramežljivi i mislimo da će svi misliti, a on ne zna baš dobro plesati.
But we want to dance.
Ali želimo plesati.
Then we think, I don't care, I'm going to dance anyway.
I onda pomislimo, a nema veze, ja ću svejedno plesati.
Dancing is, as we say, when you dance you feel happy, automatically.
Kao što smo rekli, kada plešiš, osjećaš se sretno.
I've seen it.
Vidio sam to.
I've seen devotees in kirtan and they're just watching the kirtan and then somebody pulls them into the kirtan and starts pushing them around, they start dancing, and then all of a sudden they're smiling, having a good time.
Vidio sam bakte kad gledaju kirtan sa strane i onako su ozbiljni, onda ih neko pogurne unutra u kirtan i onda se jednostavno ozare.
See it all the time.
To stalno viđam.
There was one, dancing solves problems too.
Plesanje rješava problema također.
Did you know that?
Jeste to znali?
I'll give you an example.
Daću vam primjer.
Two very senior devotees.
Dva stvarno starija bakte.
They were arguing with each other.
Svađali su se.
And then they decided not to talk to each other.
I odlučili su ne pričati jedan s drugim.
And so they wouldn't talk to each other. Both were leaders.
Obojica su bili lideri, ali nisu pričali jedan s drugim.
And this went on for some time.
I to je trajalo neko vrijeme.
Then they all came to one kirtan program. Both of them came.
I onda su obojica došli na jedan kirtan.
So there was a kirtan going on.
I tako je kirtan trajao.
And the devotees were dancing in the middle of a circle.
I bakte su plesali usred kruga.
And one was standing on one side and one was standing on the other side.
Jedan je bio na jednoj strani kruga, a drugi na drugoj.
They wouldn't get near each other.
Nisu htjeli biti blizu jedan drugom.
So another devotee,
I treći bakta,
he knew the situation.
on je znao koja je situacija.
So he took one of them
I uzeo je jednog
and
od njih.
started dancing with him.
Počeo plesati s njim.
And so he was dancing with him.
I tako je on plesao
And
s
he
njim.
very strategically
I onda je strateški
danced where the other person was.
odplesao do mjesta gdje je bila druga osoba.
And he grabbed the other one.
I zgrabio drugu osobu.
And the three of them were dancing.
I onda su njih trojica plesali.
And then he left and left them two to dance together.
I onda je on otišao i ostavio njih dvojicu da plešu skupa.
And that was the end of the problem.
I to je bio kraj problema.
They became friends.
I postali su prijatelji.
Yeah, it's a true story.
To je istinita priča.
And so this process is very therapeutic.
Ovaj proces je veoma terapeutski.
It solves all problems. Chant, dance, take prasad.
Rješava sve probleme. Pjevajte, plešite, uzmite prasadam.
Read some nice books.
Pročitajte neke lijepe knjige.
And, and associate with devotees.
I družite se s baktama.
It's easy.
Lagano je.
And it's fun.
I zabavno je.
And that's what we want. We're always looking for happiness.
A to mi želimo. Mi uvijek tražimo sreću.
Here it is. In that process alone. That's bhakti.
To je bhakti.
Gyan, we have the gyanis.
Imamo
What
gyanije.
do the gyanis do?
Što gyaniji
They
rade?
read books.
Oni čitaju knjige.
They don't dance.
Ne plešu.
If they chant their own private mantras.
Ako mantraju svoje neke mantre, privatne.
If you look at a gyani,
Ako vidite gyanija,
he doesn't look so happy.
on ne izgleda sretno.
I'm intelligent.
Ja sam inteligentan.
Well, good luck.
Sretno ti bilo.
And the karma yogis,
A karma yogi,
they're trying to always find something to do
oni stalno traže nešto što će raditi.
except dance.
Osim plesati i mantrati.
Karma yoga gets you a little bit free from material suffering. Jnana yoga gets you free from material suffering, but it doesn't give you pleasure. Bhakti gives you freedom from all material and any kind of suffering and gives you joyfulness, happiness.
Karma yoga vas malo oslobodi od materijalne patnje, jnana yoga u potpunosti, ali vam ne daje sreću, a bhakti yoga vas u potpunosti oslobađa od patnje i daje vam sreću.
And that's what we're looking for.
I to je ono što tražimo.
And we all know that.
I svi to znamo.
But we have to do it more.
Ali to moramo više raditi.
Yeah. Don't try to figure it out. You can't.
Nemojte pokušavati prokužiti jer ne možete.
Just do it.
Jednostavno to napravite.
It works.
Djeluje.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there with Lord Nityananda. What are they doing? They're dancing.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu je tamo s gospodinom Nityanandom na oltaru. Što rade? Plešu.
He's not sitting in meditation on some impersonal thing. He's dancing.
On ne sjedi i meditira na nešto impersonalno, on pleše.
When Dostoevsky, that famous, was he Russian? He was Dostoevsky was Russian, right? Yeah. When he heard about Krishna, he thought, that is really God, a God who dances. That must be God.
Dostojevski je mislio kad je čuo za Krišnu, to je stvarno Bog, jer je on Bog koji pleše.
Yeah, because he dances. So, thank you very much.
Puno
Just
hvala.
continue to chant, dance, and take prasadam, and whatever problems you have, forget about them.
Mantrajte, plešite, častite prasadam i ako imate probleme, zaboravite na probleme.
And if you keep chanting and dancing, you'll think, what was that problem I had?
Ako nastavite mantrati i
I forgot.
plesati, mislite, a koji sam to problem imao, a zaboravio sam.
That's good. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
We have time for any questions?
Imamo li pitanja?
Pitanya? Oh, we got two pitanyas at once. Okay. Bhagavat Prabhu, okay.
Thank you for the lecture. Maybe it's a stupid question, but
There's no such thing.
can you tell what practically means to think of Krishna's lotus feet?
Možete li nam reći što praktično znači misliti na Krišnina lotosolika stopala?
I missed a couple words.
Can you, Sasha, can you maybe?
He wants to know what it practically means to think of Krishna's lotus feet.
Well, you've seen Krishna in the temple, and you've seen his lotus feet, you just go, here it is.
Pa
Put
vidio
it
si,
in your mind and it's there.
vidio si Krišnu u hramu, vidio si njegova lotosolika stopala, jednostavno zatvori oči i evo ih pred tobom.
If you can see a picture of the deity, then you can see the lotus feet. If you see the deity, you see the lotus feet. But if you see the picture and you see the deity, then you take a mental photo, and then you keep that mental photo in your mind, and you remember, oh, here's Krishna's lotus feet. He's got red colors on the bottom, and it's got a little bracelet right on his ankle, and he has tulsi leaves, and his nails are colored red, and around he's looking at them.
I tako mi kad vidimo božanstvo ili vidimo fotografiju božanstva možemo uzeti mentalnu fotografiju i pohraniti ih i onda vidimo njegova stopala koja su crvenkasta i njegove nokte koji su crveni i on ima nanogvice i ima tulsi lišće na nogama i Radharani razmišlja o njegovim stopalima.
Whether you see the lotus feet directly or whether you see it in your mind, it's the same.
Bilo da vidite lotosolika stopala direktno ili u umu, isto je.
Because Krishna is not limited by time or space.
Jer Krišna nije ograničen vremenom i prostorom.
It is meaning that we are humble.
Stopa.
The meaning of it is that we are humble.
Stopala znači da smo ponizni.
To approach Krishna means to approach with humility.
Priči Krišne znači priči s poniznošću.
And to approach by the feet indicates pure devotional service.
I priči putem stopala to znači čisto predano služenje.
It's also an element of humility.
Da, postoji element poniznosti.
Thank you.
Hvala.
Okay. Ayodhya Dev.
Maharaj, kaže se da je Šla Prabhupada došao da bi nas izbavio od impersonalizma. Da li je moguće da kad prakticiramo svjesnost Krišne da smo na neki način isto da imamo još uvijek impersonalni?
It is said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to deliver us. Prabhupada came to deliver us from impersonalism. Is it possible to practice Krishna consciousness and still remain impersonal in some way?
Most of us are, yeah.
Većina nas i je.
Most of us are still impersonalists.
Većinom smo mi i dalje impersonalisti.
Because how you treat everything, if you treat everything in a personal way, that means you understand the personal aspect of God.
Jer ako se odnosiš prema svemu na osoban način, znači da razumiješ osobnu prirodu Boga.
So yeah, personal means relationship.
Osobno znači odnos.
We have a relationship with Krishna and it's available simply by our effort, that's all.
Mi imamo odnos sa Krišnom i on je dostupan, jednostavno trebamo uložiti trud.
So we treat Krishna as a person because he is a person.
I mi tretiramo Krišnu kao osobu jer on je osoba.
Krishna, what would you like to eat?
Krišna, što bi ti htio jesti?
Krishna, what can I say to you that will make you happy?
Krišna, što da ti kažem da te usrećim?
What can I offer you?
Što da ti ponudim?
Not like, oh, okay. Hare Krishna's there, but I can't see him, so I'll just do whatever I want.
A ne onako, pa Krišna je tu, ali ja ga ne vidim, pa ću ja po svom.
No, Krishna's always, he's present. Maya idam tadam tar sarvam ajagat avakti mortani matstani sarvabhutani nateshu bhavates vita. He says, I'm not present in my personal form within the material energy. But he says that, but he is. He says that for the impersonalists who want to worship the energy separate from him.
Krišna kaže, Krišna je prisutan i on za impersonaliste koji žele njegovu energiju štovati odvojeno od njega kaže, ja nisam osobno prisutan u toj energiji, ali zapravo je.
So Krishna's energy is non-different.
Krišnina energija je nerazličita od njega.
So within the impersonal contains the personal.
Jer zapravo na taj način impersonalno zapravo sadržava i personalno.
Within the energy contains the personal form of Krishna also.
Energija također sadržava osobni oblik Krišne.
But we usually deal with the energy rather than with the person.
Ali mi obično se nosimo sa energijom, a nemamo odnos sa osobom.
And that's impersonalism.
A to je impersonalizam.
Trying to see Krishna in everything, and because he's there.
Pokušajte vidjeti Krišnu svugdje jer on stvarno je svugdje.
He's in the heart of all devotees. He's personally present throughout the existence, everywhere.
On je u srcu svih bhakta i osobno prisutan svuda u kreaciji.
If he wants to appear, he can appear in his personal form anywhere at any time.
I ako se želi pojaviti, može se pojaviti u svojem osobnom obliku bilo kada, bilo gdje.
So yeah, realize that everything is personal.
Shvatite da je sve personalno.
When Prabhupada heard about Saint Francis of Assisi,
Kad je Prabhupada čuo za Franju Asiškog,
Saint Francis made a beautiful poem. He said, he called it Father, Son, Mother, Moon. What was it? How's that go? So brother, moon, brother, sister, moon, mother, brother, sun, something like that. He was seeing all of creation as his brothers and sisters. In other words, he was seeing the spiritual energy within everything, and he saw it in a personal way. And Prabhupada said yes. When he heard about St. Francis' name, he said, this is real God consciousness.
I kad je čuo Prabhupada za pjesmu Franja Asiškog, za koju nismo točno sigurni je li brat sunce, sestra mjesec ili nešto slično, onda je shvatio da ta osoba ima stvarnu svjesnost Boga.
So if you want to do it practically, treat everybody you meet as the most important person in your life.
Ako želite nešto praktično, onda tretirajte svakog koga sretnete kao najvažniju osobu u svom životu.
If you treat every person you meet at every time as the most important person in your life, then you are living personalism. Then you will be able to understand Krishna.
Ako tretirate svakog koga ikad sretnete kao najvažniju osobu u životu, onda ćete živjeti personalizam i onda ćete moći razumjeti Krišnu.
That's God consciousness.
To je svjesnost Boga.
And what does it mean to treat everybody in the most important person? It means, how can I serve you?
A što znači svakog tretirati kao najvažniju osobu? Uvijek se zapitati kako te mogu služiti.
What can I do that will benefit you?
Što mogu učiniti tebi na dobrobit?
That's how we treat people.
Na taj način se
this person, Krishna has sent me, put me in contact with this person, how can I serve that person? Therefore that moment becomes our opportunity for devotional service, and that person becomes the object of our service.
Krišna me spojio s ovom osobom kako je mogu služiti. I stoga svaki susret s osobom nam je prilika da je služimo.
Okay? Does that help a little? Yeah. Yes.
Krishna, thank you for your nice lecture.
Hare Krishna.
I'd like to ask, what is the most difficult things for devotees in Krishna consciousness, according to your opinion?
According to my opinion.
Što je najteža stvar za bhakte u svjesnosti Krišne prema vašem mišljenju?
When somebody doesn't know how to make pizza.
Kad neko ne zna ispeći picu.
That's the worst.
Najgore je kad neko ne zna ispeći picu.
Can't think of anything worse than that.
Ne postoji ništa gore od toga.
And they say, this is pizza.
A oni kažu, ovo je pizza.
It's terrible.
Užas.
It's a reason for suicide.
To je razlog za samoubojstvo.
I mean, there's other things, but that's the worst one I can think of.
Ima i drugih stvari, ali ovo je najgore čega se mogu sjetiti.
Major problem.
To je ogroman problem.
I mean, you can say, well, I tried to make it.
Možete reći, pokušao sam napraviti picu.
It looks like pizza, but
Izgleda ko pizza, ali
it's not. But
ali nije.
and then at least you're honest.
Onda si barem iskren.
You say, here's some pizza.
Ali ako kažeš, evo ti pizza, ama ne.
That's the worst.
To je najgore.
I'm not joking.
Ja sam šalim.
You have to give me time to think of something else, but it might take a while.
Morate mi dati vremena da se nečeg drugog sjetim, ali to bi moglo potrajati.
Okay, so on another level, what's the worst thing? When someone says they're going to do something and they don't do it.
Na jednoj drugoj razini, najgore je kad neko kaže da će nešto učiniti i to ne učini.
Someone makes a promise and then breaks the promise without any reason, without any notice. That kind of really makes relationships hard. Everything's based on relationships.
Neko nešto obeća i onda to ne ispuni bez ikakvog razloga ili bez prethodne najave. to stvarno oteža odnos, jer sve se bazira na odnosima.
I'm sorry, if you make a promise and you can't fulfill it, you should let people know ahead of time that I can't fulfill it because of this reason and that. But if you just say you're going to do something and then you don't do it, it's the worst.
Znači ljudima, ako ne možete održati obećanje, morate im najaviti ja neću moći održati obećanje i navesti neki razlog, a ako to ne napravite, onda je to najgore.
I promise at initiation I will chant 16 rounds and follow the four regulative principles.
Obećao sam na inicijaciji da ću mantrat 16 krugova i slijediti 4 regulativna principa.
The spiritual master says, oh, very good, and I promise I'll do my best to take you back to Godhead.
I duhovni učitelj kaže, ok, ja obećajem da ću se potruditi najbolje što mogu da te vratim Bogu.
If one of them doesn't fulfill their promise, that's the worst.
Ako jedan od njih ne ispuni obećanje, to je najgore.
That's almost as bad as the pizza one, not as bad.
To je skoro kao i pizza.
So that one is, I think that for me that becomes, when someone says yes, don't say something unless you can actually try to do it, and even if there's circumstances, you should apologize for not being able to do it. But don't, when you say something and you don't do it, and you don't even care whether it happens or not, then what happens, people lose trust. And as soon as trust is lost, relationships break down.
Ako nešto obećate, onda se barem morate ispričati ako to nećete ispuniti, jer ako se ni ne ispričate i nije vam stalo, onda ljudi izgube povjerenje, a s gubitkom povjerenja razaraju se odnosi.
So we trust devotees that whatever they say, we trust it.
Vjerujemo baktama da što god kažu, mi im vjerujemo.
And as soon as you start losing trust in others, then life becomes very difficult.
Čim počneš gubiti povjerenje u druge, život postaje jako težak.
So that's not so good.
To baš nije dobro.
Anyone want to comment on that?
Želi li neko komentirati?
I mean, maybe we could think of something worse than that.
Možda se možemo sjetiti nečeg goreg.
I thought, what are your requirements for pizza?
What is my requirements?
Koji su zahtjevi za picu? Kakva pizza treba biti?
All right, here we go.
Ok, ajmo.
Since we're in Joyful Kitchen, it's an appropriate question.
Ovo je prikladno pitanje jer smo u restoranu.
Has to be thin crust.
Tanka korica.
Has to be the flour has to be pizza flour.
Brašno mora biti za picu.
No healthy pizzas allowed.
Nisu dozvoljene zdrave pice.
It has to be cheese that is what do they call that cheese? Mozzarella cheese.
Mora biti mozzarella sir.
And good quality.
Kvalitetan.
It should be a nice balance between cheese and tomato, but if it's not, more cheese than tomato.
Mora biti dobar balans između sira i paradajza, ali ako nema balansa, onda više sira.
It should never be eaten in the morning.
Nikad se ne smije jesti ujutro.
In the afternoon, it's okay.
Popodne je ok.
And in the night, it's super.
A na večer je super.
All the pizza shops in Italy open at 7 o'clock in the evening.
Sve pizzerije u Italiji se otvaraju u 7 na večer.
That's true.
To je istina.
What else? Should have nothing else on top. The only other thing you can put on top is black olives, nothing else.
Još jedna stvar, jedino drugo što možete staviti na picu osim sira su crne masline, ništa drugo.
If you put corn,
Ako stavite kukuruz,
pineapple,
ananas,
zucchini,
tikvice,
you are committing aparad.
činite uvredu.
Very serious aparad.
To je jako ozbiljna uvreda.
You will not be allowed to travel to Italy in the rest of your life.
Ne smijete ostatak života ući u Italiju.
That's okay. What else? There is some more. It should be hot.
Mora biti vruća,
Very hot.
jako vruća.
Yakaruchi?
Jako vruća.
Rucha. Right. That's the male form of ruchi, right?
Vruća is female, vrući is male.
Okay. Rucha is, yeah, because women
Pizza is female.
Pizza is female, that's right, because it gives you pleasure, yeah.
Pizza je ženskog roda jer ti daje užitak.
It's obvious.
Očito je.
I should have known that, I'm sorry.
Trebao sam znati da je pizza ženskog roda.
There are other requirements also.
Postoje drugi uvjeti.
Oh, okay.
A koji začini?
You can only eat one other food with pizza.
I još jednu hranu smijete jesti sa pizzom.
The only other food allowed with pizza is salad.
Jedina stvar koju smijete s pizzom je salata.
Anything else is an intrusion on the privacy of pizza.
Bilo što drugo je narušavanje privatnosti pizze.
Oh, we have to have
Oregano.
spices. That's in the sauce there.
Da, moramo imati začine u sosu.
Oregano, or what we call it, oregano.
Oregano.
Yeah, so proper spices, Italian spices only.
Samo talijanski začini.
And when you're done,
I kad ste gotovi,
you should eat a lot.
morate pojesti puno.
If you eat one slice,
Ako pojedete jednu krišku,
it's like getting to the temple and standing outside.
to je kada idete u hram i stojite vani.
You haven't really gone into the excitement.
Niste napravili ništa.
These are some of the rules.
Ovo su neka od pravila.
But don't eat it in the morning, that's an offense.
Nemojte jesti picu ujutro, to je uvreda.
No breakfast pizza.
Pizza ne može za doručak.
Pizza will not agree with you.
Pizza se neće složiti s vama.
Okay, I think that's all of the ones I can think of.
To je sve što se mogu
In
sjetiti.
America, they have the listing is called 10 offenses against pizza.
U Americi imaju 10 uvreda pici.
Yeah, I mean, there's really devotees who actually know these 10 offenses and follow them.
I neki bakte znaju tih 10 uvreda i slijede ih.
I think I only mentioned some of the offenses. I missed a few.
I ja sam spomenuo samo neke od njih, ali neke su mi promakle.
And the more people you eat pizza with, the better it is.
I sa što više ljudi jedeš picu, to bolje.
And that's some of. There's more. I have to check my pizza book before I can really.
Moram provjeriti tu knjigu o pici prije nego što vam kažem još.
That's about it.
To je to.
Okay. So, but that applies to Croatian strudel too.
To se odnosi na hrvatsku štrudlu.
So use the same program and apply all of those rules and regulations for strudel.
Morate imati isti program, ista pravila i propise za štrudlu.
Except that strudel doesn't have to be hot.
Osim toga, ali štrudla ne mora biti vruća.
It's better when it is hot.
Bolja kad je vruća.
There's an expert over there.
Evo imamo tu eksperta.
The Croatian strudel is, if I can't get pizza, I would like that second in line.
Ako ne mogu dobiti picu, onda barem štrudlu. To je druga stvar po redu.
Good stuff.
To je dobro.
We had some on Friday night. Today's Sunday. Yeah, Friday night we had some.
Jeli smo ih u petak.
I'm still remembering it.
I još je se sjećam.
Okay, so any other interesting questions?
Ima li drugih zanimljivih pitanja?
I think that leads up to our next activity.
Nešto što će napraviti uvod u našu sljedeću aktivnost.
And who would like to announce the next activity?
Ko bi želio najaviti iduću aktivnost?
Okay, there we go.
Sharira vidya jal.
Okay, so we do it?
Hoćemo li?
You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Savira Vidjajal Jodhendriya Tekal
Jodhendriya Tekal
Visaya Sagare
Jive Pele Visaya Sagare
Dharmadya Divayati
Dharmadya Jivayati
Lovamoya Sadvarmati
Lovamoy Sudurmati
Akita Kotina Samsare
Kartijata Kotina Samsare
Krishna Bodadoyamoy
Shri Krishna Bharadamayoy
Horibar Jivajay
Horivar Jiva Jai
Mahaprasad Dilovai
Saprashana Dilavai
Senamrita Pao
Senamrita Pao
Radha Krishna Gunagao
Radha Krishna Gunagao
Venako Chaitanya Nitai
Premedako Shri Chaitanya Nitai
Jaini Mai Jaini Tai
Jaini Mai Jaini Tai
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Shri Krishna Prasad Ki
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada Ki Gaur Premanande
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dragi bhakte. Imamo još jednu stvar. Slobodno vi stanete u red za čašćenje, to nije problem. Usput ćemo otpjevati jedan Hare Krishna to you za jako vrijedne Matađis, članove našeg tima i zajednice. Dina Dayadri Matađi i Kalakanti Matađi danas čestitamo rođendan. Hare Krishna to you, Hare Krishna to you, Hare Krishna dear Mataji, Hare Krishna to you. Thank you.
What's the name of the brand? The brand, the name of the brand. Road.